No, I didn't want to threaten the FBI until much later. So in March 2012, I was raided by the FBI at my mom's house. They had come to my apartment first. I had left the previous day to go to my mom's house, knowing they were coming. That I had a tip, and so they came to my mom's house without a warrant, asked to speak to me. I said, "Come on the backyard, let's talk." And they asked me if I wanted to give them any laptops, and I said, "No, I really don't want to give you any laptops," and so on and so forth. And they left. A few hours later, they came back with a warrant, searched my mom's house, detained her downstairs. And then a few days later, the DOJ prosecutor told me through my lawyer that now my mom was going to be prosecuted as well for obstruction of justice. Uh, my mom urged me not to say anything publicly, and I didn't for that time. But over the next few months, I found more and more elements of how the FBI and certain of their friendly parties in the press, friendly reporters, some of whom work with H.B. Gary, Stratfor, the FBI itself, FBI cooperators, the way they had shaped things up in order to try to discredit me, discredit our research, discredit Aaron Schwartz's research, discredit the research that dozens of us had done over the last year, Palantir and so forth. And some of the things the FBI, I caught the FBI doing more things and being involved in more things. And I knew if I just could, and I tried my best to go to reporters and other comrades and say, hey, look, this stuff's going to happen to me. I'm gonna go to prison. Please be in a position to make sure that these things about Palantir and Booz Allen Hamilton and the NSA that they get out no matter what. I said that to Glenn Greenwald in the last communication we ever had. At that point until years later, and nothing came out of it. And so finally in September, I made a video saying, look, here's the things we've caught Aaron Barr doing. Here's the things we've caught the other FBI assets doing to me, to my mother, to our colleagues. Here's what we've caught them planning to do to the families of labor union leaders that they were going after. Aaron Barr was in their proposals that Palantir and these other companies created to show Bank of America and Chamber of Commerce. They were going to investigate the children and families of their targets, labor union leaders, journalists, whoever. And in fact, had started doing so in these documents. So what I said was, since apparently that's all legal, I'm going to see if it's legal when I do it. So I'm going to look into the family of this FBI agent who's threatening my mom, and and we'll find out if there's a double standard here. And of course there was, because I was hit by a SWAT team later that evening, and then brought in, charged with threatening a federal agent, because I had also said that I would shoot any other FBI agents who came to my mom's house or at my house or anyone else I know. At the time, I meant it. As far as I was, nothing to lose. I know what it means to be subject to an investigation by the FBI and DOJ in cooperation with major banks and things like Palantir. And so I was more than happy to go out in a blaze of gunfire if need be. Luckily, I had no weapons in the house at the time. They were at my dad's house, and so otherwise it could have been more serious. Anyway, so they came and hit me. The SWAT team busted in, full SWAT team, brought me in. I was charged with threatening a federal agent, and then a few months later charged with the thing they had come up with to justify the original investigation, which was copying and pasting a link that had been posted in the AnonOps chat server, posted by what turned out to be Jeremy Hammond, one of the hackers involved in the Stratfor hack. Me copying that link he had posted and pasting it into my chat room for Project PM for our researchers, and then asking Jeremy, what's in these, and him responding, CNC, blah blah, what turned out to be credit cards. He had posted the credit card information for subscribers of Stratfor. I never used credit cards, neither did anyone else in my group. The same link had been posted publicly, and that's something that the DOJ knew. It's why they, anyway. But I was now facing 22 years on that mandatory minimum, 11 counts of aggravated identity theft for copying and pasting that link that that it was one of hundreds of links I copied and pasted. The first one that involved credit card numbers. I was charged with that. And then they charged me with obstruction of justice as well, along with my mom. And then they made me an offer through my lawyers. They said, if you cooperate, we go to plea deal. And I told my lawyer no. A few months later, they charged my mom. with obstruction of justice. Then they made me their next final offer, which was if I pleaded just one of those 11 counts of obstruction of interference, of copying and pasting a link, I could get out right then. I'd already at that point already done 2 years in jail waiting trial, and I said no. And the reason I said no is because had I pled a single one of those charges, the precedent established would have allowed the DOJ to prosecute any researcher, journalist, or other regular civilian that they found to be dangerous, simply for copying and pasting or accessing a file that ended up containing credit card numbers, which, when you go through huge amounts of files every day, as we've been doing for a year and a half, sometimes going to happen. Later on, of course, I learned. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, didn't they originally try to put you in for over 100 years or something?
I was facing 105 years total. If you stacked up all there was 17 charges altogether. There was 11 counts of aggravated identity theft. There was the one count of threatening a federal agent. There was another count of conspiracy to release protected information about a federal agent, and then obstruction of justice, and I think something else. And of course, they ended up having to drop after 2.5 years, the day after the Electronic Freedom Foundation and our were not just dangerous, but also didn't make any sense, because the aggravated identity theft charge applies to stealing government issued ID, on those grounds. And also they had, by this point, the press, thanks to Kevin Gallagher, the guy who helped to run my legal defense, had helped to turn the tides to get the press to remember what it was that why the FBI had targeted me to begin with, because a lot of them had been confused by that point. And so by that time, 2013, 2014, I had become a cause celebre. I had become a hero again. Even among outlets that had a couple years prior, accused me of being a fraud, of being a charlatan, accused me of making up the Zetas thing. I've seen, and that's why the press itself, the press dynamics, are the thing that since then have are most compelling to me, and the thing that me and others who've watched this happen feel that most needs to be solved. We can risk our lives, even die in the case of Aaron Swartz. The press refrains from actively discrediting us on behalf of, because they've gotten bad information knowingly or unknowingly from the state. Unless they can act like the press is supposed to act, none of it matters. No one's going to know. You see this over and over again with the strap for documents. There's 5 million strap for emails, that went to WikiLeaks, and just the first wave of the discoveries within those emails involved serious malfeasance, such as Dow Chemical hiring Stratford to spy on the victims of the Bhopal incident in the 80s, where one of Dow Chemical's plants blew up and killed thousands of people and maimed and sickened tens of thousands of others. Stratford, the company I went down over, that I owe $800,000 to in restitution, was spying on that group that was trying to compel Dow Jones to pay some restitution, probably $40 each, to the remaining Indians. That's just one of many things we came across. So what I'm saying is that, and the press, rather for the most part, particularly certain individuals like Adrian Chin, Joseph Min, Sam Biddle, John Cook, people who would go on to The Intercept and become editors there and writers there, just like I would. There was a number of people who, because they wrote the first pieces putting out this information, those articles were then taken as trustworthy by other larger outlets, New York Times, Atlantic, whatever. And so what I came to learn and what I'm able to document now is that all it takes is a few, let's say, on the take, corrupt, or FBI aligned journalists or intelligence community aligned journalists to create a narrative that will ensure that the actual meat, the content, the actual issues that affect everyone that we put out. All it takes a few of them to ensure that a large portion of the press either ignores it or discredits it. And that's what happened over and over again. And it's happened with other whistleblowers, and it'll keep happening until such time as the people in question, journalists who do that, are given a reason not to do it. And so that's kind of what a lot of our projects, long-term projects, I'm talking 10 years, starting 10 years ago, the things that'll come to fruition in January, that'll be the start of this. That'll be the start of a new era in which reporters are going to want to start getting things right, and they're definitely not want to get things. They're definitely not want to get caught. Let's say colluding with Stratfor or Palantir or HB Gary or the FBI.